It's the first word.
Griffin versus Rose last night. How great was that? Feel free to respond like you're paying attention. Good thing the sun didn't blow up as Adonde forecasted. Wonder what his 5-day forecast is. 32 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists for the Rook on 14 of 26 shooting. 32 points, 11 assists, 4 threes for Rose. It's question time, J.A. We'll start off with you because you were there. I think you know where I'm going. Who would you rather start your franchise with, Rose or Griffin?
I'm a guy that likes to take results over potential, and while Blake Griffin has the potential to be one of the 5 best players in the league, Derrick Rose is already there. He's the guy that controlled that game, who dictated, who was unanswerable. The Chicago Bulls were able to come up with a defense that held Blake Griffin to only 7 points in the second half. Griffin had to take 26 shots to get to his 32 points. Rose got his on 18, and there's really no way to defend him. You know he wants to go to the basket. He still gets there regularly, and if you want to pack in the defense, he made 4 of his 8 3-point shots last night. That's why Derrick Rose playing like an MVP, while Blake Griffin is the Rookie of the Year.
Well, a Rose is a Rose is a Rose, but a Griffin is a body of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle. I'd much rather have Griffin from Greek mythology. You could talk about Derrick Rose, and he is a Chris Paul play-alike. And how many championships has Chris Paul won? Nice player, very good pro all-star, but I want Blake Griffin on my team, 21 years old, 32 points last night. He had 7 assists. Here's a guy averaging 23 points a game, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. In this millennium, there's only been 2 players who have done that, Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. They've won world championships. How many has Rose won?
Blackstone.
Well, and not only that, but Griffin is still playing for a losing team, and I think that's the bottom line. That's what you have to look at, even though this is only his first year. I got to build around a special point guard, and obviously Derrick Rose is a special point guard. Not only does he score, he's giving you almost 9 assists a game. He's shooting the ball very well from the free throw line. He's even getting you 4 to 5 rebounds a game at the point guard position, which is absolutely outstanding. And he's one of those guys that's making everybody around him better. That is a playoff team now, heavily because of the influence of Derrick Rose, the impact that he's making on the field. And you think about great big guys. You mentioned KG. KG couldn't even get out of the first round of the playoffs when he was up there in Minnesota. Give me the point guard.
McMullen.
So I just want to be clear on this. Chris Paul hasn't won a championship, so you don't want to be Chris Paul. And Derrick Rose hasn't won a championship, even though he's been in the league about 5 minutes. And you think that Blake Griffin is going to win a championship with the LA Clippers like any second now? I just want to be clear on that. A bunch of nonsense, dear. A bunch of nonsense. Blake Griffin is going to be a great player. We all love Blake Griffin on this panel, but these guys have got it right. Derrick Rose doesn't get enough talk right now. We're so always concentrating on LeBron and Kobe. Your MVP at midseason right now is the point guard from the Chicago Bulls. You talk about the impact he's had. You mentioned that Joakim Noah hasn't even been playing this season, and it's Derrick Rose that's keeping that team together. He's totally bought into Tom Thibodeau's system. And Jay made a great point. He could always drive to the basket, but he did what all great players do, Tony. He went off to the offseason. He defined that mid-range jump shot, and now he's got 3-point range.
You're the only one on Griffin.
I think that snowstorm in Boston has confused your mind, Jackie. I was making comparisons between Blake Griffin and Tim Duncan. How many championships has Tim Duncan? They're building something with the Clippers. It's going to take a while, but for the first time in that franchise's history, they've got a great player that they can build around over the next 3 years.
Well, I understand they have a great player they have to build around, but why are you picking on Chris Paul? What does that got to do with anything? He hasn't had enough chance to win championships either. Tim Duncan has a nice supporting cast around him. And if Chris Paul did, he'd win a championship.
Well, the one thing with Blake, I mean, we love his game. He's way ahead of schedule. Still needs to work on free throws, 60% shooter. Needs to work on defense. Needs to become a more consistent outside shooter. The thing is, he will work, though, because he's such a dedicated worker. So you see him improving all those
Tim Duncan came in and joined David Robinson and a team that already knew how to win.
But are you forgetting that Griffin's got the body of a lion and the head of an eagle?
The mythic creature.
Is a rose, Gertrude Stein said.
Super Bowl week now brought to you by TMZ, Blackstone's favorite site, reporting. Ben Roethlisberger and 2 teammates at a Fort Worth piano bar Tuesday night from 11 p.m. to 1:15 a.m. Ben drinking there, buying the whole bar drinks, spending $800, tipping $200, and singing Piano Man. Ben's response to that, It's a tradition. He takes his linemen out before big games, that they weren't out until 1:15. And, of course, you're going to sing Piano Man at a piano bar. That's what Ben responded. Here's the question, Jackie. Is this something that should be known, should be cared about, should be thought about, should be reported before a game?
You know, honestly, no, because what Ben Roethlisberger, as far as we know, if 1:15, whatever, he didn't do anything wrong. He managed himself professionally in public. But here's the problem, Tony. Ben Roethlisberger isn't like everybody else, and we all know why, because of all the big publicity that he got for all the negative things that went on in his life. Roger Goodell has talked to him about behaving a certain way. So whether it's fair or unfair, Ben Roethlisberger should be smarter. Suppose he's in that bar minding his own business, doing nothing wrong, and someone comes up and throws themselves at him, or just comes up and slugs him in the jaw, or anything like that. All of a sudden, he's in the news. I would just think at this point, he's this close to the Super Bowl. Just go to a quiet restaurant, have a quiet meal with your linemen, and go home. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but why put yourself in harm's way?
Flagstone, what do you think?
Well, that place doesn't exist, Jackie, and you know it, because Ben Roethlisberger is who he is. He's the 6'5", Super Bowl winning, two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there is no quiet place he can go in Dallas. Is it fair that it's reported on? Absolutely not. But this is the atmosphere and the environment in which we live in this day. And anytime you're a person of some notoriety and you go out, there's going to be somebody with a cell phone camera who's going to take a picture of you and then try and spread it on the internet. And that's what's happened here, and that's why it gets reported.
Paige.
Well, I've been in that situation. I'm nobody, but I know exactly what it's like. There's no reason why, given that it's Super Bowl week and after he did such an impressive job on Media Day of explaining his past, talking about he's concentrating on the Super Bowl, for him to be out late at night knowing that this is going to happen. And there could be, as Jackie pointed out, that somebody just throws himself at him, that somebody comes up and tries to start a fight, meanwhile says to someone in the background, take pictures of us. He should, if he wants to sing, buy a karaoke machine, put it in his room, and sing by himself. Okay. If he wants to drink rum and Diet Coke, stay in the hotel, go in the bar with a couple of his friends, but to be out, take them to a steak restaurant.
Here's the thing, though, Woody.
Home.
No one did come up and start an altercation with him. No one accused him of taking someone in the bathroom. No one accused him of having a bunch of drinks and then getting behind the wheel. All he did was do what everyone does during Super Bowl week. That's the reason you want to have a Super Bowl come to your town. He went out and ran up a big tab. This is not news. People need to focus on what really matters here. And someone having a drink early in the week, long before their game, which is what NFL players do normally, this is not news.
You're right. You're right, Jay. It's not news, and you're absolutely right. Ben Roethlisberger has the right to conduct himself any way he chooses. I think what Woody and I are saying, though, is why even tempt it? Just it's Tuesday night. Just stay home. Why even tempt it? Why put your team, your owner, your commissioner in a position where they have to second guess the second chance you've been given?
You can't become a hermit just because there's cell phone cameras out there.
It doesn't have to be a hermit, J.A. It's the week of the Super Bowl, for crying out loud.
We've been horned.